Cole Palmer and Moisés Caicedo are gods of football. And today, they almost saved Chelsea, but it wasn't enough. Welcome back to FFB, Amigos. And today we're going to talk about this Brentford game. Sadly for Chelsea, 2-2. And I say sadly because they had it in the bag after an amazing strike by Moises Caicedo from outside the box. But let's get into it. Before the game started, let's get into this. Look at this formation. And I think this is where a lot of the critique is going to come from me, at least. We had in the back Fofana, Andarabioyo, Chalaba, and Hato as our line of four. Now, I'm okay with Fofana being there. I'm really happy to see him back, but I think it's too much to ask to have two, right? You have the Fofana newness, and you starting to come back, and you have this kid Hato, which I think that's too much pressure to put on him coming back. And then Enzo Fernandez in the double pivot. Again, they always put this 4-4-2, but that's not even real in any sense. We know that it really turns into a line of three, and that's why it's not crazy, because Fofana is playing as a quote-unquote right back, but he's not, right? He's playing as a right center back because that's a line of three. And the way Chelsea plays we took out both our right backs and left backs, which none of them play as a proper right back or left back, so it's tricky. And then Caicedo and Fernandez, that second line is really just Caicedo, because Fernandez finds himself playing next to Buonanotte in between him and Pedro Neto most of the time, which again, then on that line we have Jeremy Gittins and Buonanotte. That's a little too much. So now look at that weakness that you have. You have Gittins trying to cover trying to cover that wing on the left-hand side with Hato behind him. Dude, I don't think that was a very strong idea or a good lineup. As soon as it came out, I was a little freaked out. I trusted. I'm like, because I'm all about the, come on, Blues, I trust you. I trust Maresca that he saw something in the training. Buonanotte is on it. And to be honest, let's get into the player rating straight, and I'll talk to you about each one. But just broadly, what happened right here, as you can see, to me, that was really bad. It's like, oh no, man, come on. But start a stronger team, and then in any case, shift. And even here, as we can see, like, really, Malo Gusto couldn't start. Reece James first and then get him out. Or Cucurella. Fine, Palmer with the injury, I get it. It felt like it was a game where Garnacho could have played absolutely, or even Tyreek George on the left instead of Gittins. I don't get it. And Fernandez was a little bit tired and all that good stuff. You could have gone with Andre Santos, with a lot of Chelsea fans we like. You want to see him. In any case, let's look at them. Let's see what they gave him for the player ratings, man. And we'll talk about each one individually. And I'll mention the goals when they come in. Robert Sanchez, 6 out of 10. He did a couple of good saves, but he doesn't seem too solid at times. But look, from what we've seen, he didn't do these mad errors as much as we sometimes are scared of. It was decent. Fofana, he wasn't there. It wasn't his position. He doesn't seem sharp. And that dude is fast and lightning and attentive. He wasn't that today. So I don't know what's going on with there. Trev, they're giving him a 5 out of 10. I think that's BS. I think he had a decent game. I think somehow he always gets mistreated in terms of critiques. Yes, he did give the ball away one or two times, but it wasn't a bad performance. And here, ironically, Towson gets a 6, and I think it's the other way around. I think Towson did a little bit poorly in the marking, in positionally, I would say, when defending. Jorel Hato, poor guy, just bad performance. It says here sloppy touch, but beyond that, his positioning wasn't there. And I think that when you put him and you have somebody on the left wing that's not used to the system as well, I think it's asking too much. Caicedo. Moisés Caicedo. Te amo, bro. Why are you so amazing? The recoveries, the quick passing in transition. If you can't, and the goal, the goal he smacks from outside the box. Please, everybody, tell me in the comments, is Moisés Caicedo the best DM in the world? I think he's been doing it long enough. Please tell me in the comments. Please give me a little flag, give me a thumbs up, give me whatever. Just let me know. Is Caicedo the best DM in the world? Brother, he's been injured out again or whatever. Like, that was the guy that he was the ghost that stopped him from being the best DM in the world. I don't see it. I don't see this guy's amazing. And today, after all the defense, all the things that we expected him to do, he gave us that goal from outside the box, smacked it in, which he's highly capable, and I've been telling you before, and also to dink a little pass when things are tight as well. He showed it today. And that's why you know you're in trouble. You're not really in a title race or anything like that when you can't put these games away. If your star player gives you that opportunity with 5 minutes to go or 10 minutes to go with at a time, you got to be able to put it away, to put that win in the box, and we didn't. Of course, I'm going to give huge credit to Brentford for that insanity madness that they're doing with the long throw-ins and the set pieces and the counter. But man, Caicedo, wow, so lucky. Very special performance, like it says there. Enzo Fernandez, I think 6 out of 10 is generous, because at times he had an 8 out of 10 performance, and at times he had a 3 out of 10 performance. He says tidy in possession. He's always tidy in possession. But I think there's some confusion on what kind of player this is. Till this day, Maresca is confused, and he's got him to play as a sort of a 10 or a second 10, and where he is up there and arriving late in the box, and he's proven that he can score those goals. But I think we totally miss out, and he totally misses out on something he likes to do, which is to pick up the ball, play from deep, and has amazing passes. Of course, in a game like this, it's very hard to find those long passes. And usually when he drops deep against this kind of opposition, he's just really doing lovely passes, but it's just really sideways from one side of the field to the other. But those long balls that our center backs sometimes try, maybe something that if he's deeper, we can find. Especially because I did see Joao Pedro doing some runs. Speaking of a Pedro, let's go into Neto. Constant threat, always attacking. But honestly, he had a 20-minute spot where he was a little bit lost, if you ask me. And we really missed Esteban William. Incredible to say that. He's a teenager, only started a couple of times. But we missed was that different thing, which we're going to talk about the guy that brought it later, which you know exactly who it is, who brought it later. But we need a little bit more of that. I think Pedro and Neto is somebody that if Joao Pedro is doing his job and Palmer's around doing his job, he'll just destroy you. He'll run at you really fast and you can do his game, but he needs that little bit of magic around him so he has a space created. And man, he did it a couple of times. When he runs past you, he's gone. So what speed? Amazing. Facundo Buonanotte. Sadly, they gave him a 5 out of 10, and I tend to maybe agree on that one. But he started as an 8 out of 10. I would say the first 15 minutes, he looked definitely part of the team, really sharp, but obviously too much to ask. Gittins, again, I don't get it. I think we're being a little too generous with his time, and we're turning, what's his face? We're turning George into a 9 in this situation. I'm going back to this picture here because I wanted to check the substitutes just to be sure. Yeah, Mark Hughes not on there. He wasn't in the substitutes, which is really weird. But Tyreek George coming in as the 9, not convinced. And Jeremy Gittins is not there. In any case, he tried to play a little bit in the 9 position. He should have come in on the left. Joao Pedro stick as a solid 9, which we get into now, 6 out of 10. He didn't get too many opportunities like it says there. But I saw him a little bit lost this time. I don't like what he did. I mean, he had to drop deep, and when he did, he tried a couple of flicks. He gave over possession. It wasn't really panning out for him. I saw complaining a couple of times. That wasn't very nice. I think he missed his buddy Cole Palmer, which we're going to talk about now. 8 out of 10. This guy, man, when he receives a ball from the defenders or from Caicedo on the midfield, he takes it on the turn almost every time, takes it on the half turn immediately. As with the first touch, he's already facing opposition and takes 2-3 steps. He had to be held back, strapped. They had to strap him with their arms a couple of times because with one touch, he turns around and he faces the defense. He's gone, and he's an amazing threat where he can put the killer pass, or if you give him a little bit too much distance, he can chip a keeper, he can smash it into a corner. And he really proved that today with a beautiful, beautiful goal. When the changes came, Marco Correa did well. Reece James did well. Tyreek George, well, not everybody got a 6 out of 10 on these ratings, but I think it's just because they weren't enough in the game except Cucurella and James. And again, to me, it was like a lot of Chelsea fans believe this is Maresca's mistake, is you start with a strong team and then you bring in, once you start getting the 1-0 or 2-0, then you maybe start switching out the players. He had a different vision on that. I guess he trusted some of these players to come in and do it against Brentford, which, granted, it's not, these stats don't tell that story from last year where we were just side to side to side. We did have 6 shots on target. It wasn't the terribly boring one, but we're susceptible on the counter. We're susceptible on the counter as always last year, but now I feel diminished. We are missing that center back, experienced center back. If we had imagined Thiago Silva playing with Chalaba back there, oh, that would be so nice. Thiago Silva, not of now, but 3 years ago, even 2 years ago, because that guy played until he was 59. He was still decent. He's still playing, but you know what I mean. We really need, I think, that presence or somebody to step up into that presence. Once we have the 3 center backs in other types of games or lined up as 3 center backs, maybe they'll do it amongst themselves. And Mark Gay, he's not that guy. He's not that guy. I'm telling you right now. He can be, he will be in the future, but he's not that guy. Let's see. Just because of our business model, we're not going to go and find that super old school, captain material center back. And with Colwell out for so long, I think we're going to feel that because somebody is in the left center back position. I was crying and yelling for a year and a half that we should have bought Piero Hincapié. Of course, the Ecuadorian in me wanted that. Now he's at Arsenal. He would have been so nice to have in that left center back slot. Again, not to be the biggest star, but he can certainly cover for Colwell. He wouldn't cover for Thiago Silva, but he can certainly cover for Colwell. In the past video, you can go and watch where I mentioned where he played in that invincible Xabi Alonso, and he did a little bit of left back coverage as well as the center back. And in Ecuador, he does that left back position at times, and he progresses the ball really well. So it would have been interesting, but it is what it is. We've got what we've got. Sad to see that result. We should have certainly taken it. It feels almost like a loss because we had it in the bag thanks to the amazing Moisés Caicedo, but we didn't. We really need our number 9 back. We really needed Mark Uth at least to play that 9 so somebody can slip into the left-hand side. I don't understand as many changes we did in the beginning, that putting in the strong team. Of course, we came from international break and we have Bayern Munich coming up, which is really exciting. Champions League. We're back in Munich. It's like the bad guy in a movie. I love Bayern Munich, to be honest, because they are like a bad guy in the movie, like the tough, bad German guy, or like the Russian, like Ivan Drago in Rocky IV. To me, they're like the mean, tough team. That's what Chelsea used to be. We used to scare the daylights out of even the best Barcelona team in history, man, when they would come play to Stamford Bridge, because no one would win at Stamford Bridge. You'd be lucky if you score a goal against Chelsea ever, and you're going to get kicked, razzled, messed up, yelled at, intimidated. It was going to be a tough game. And maybe even you would have us against the ropes for 89 minutes, but we can take it in minute 90. And it was a fortress at Stamford Bridge. And I hope we can develop a little bit of that defensive side and some of that grit with this young team as time goes by. I know we're not there yet, but I'm excited about it. And certainly having Caicedo in the team is something you can build around. And he's coming. He's bringing out that mean streak lately. Not only is he tough and tactical and all these things, but he's got the aggression and he really stands up for himself. So I'm excited about this game that's coming up now against Bayern Munich. And I'm going to try to do a watch along tomorrow for the Man City Man United. So come by the channel if I have. I'm 80% sure. I'm trying to get in to be able to do that live tomorrow. And certainly the Champions League game I will be doing live. Please come and join us. It's going to be really exciting. And I'll see you then. Come on, you Blues.